Welcome, friends, to Basic Sexuality Education Facilitators Forum. It's a wonderful day, and we really want to thank you for joining us. There's a task ahead of us, and I'm excited that you have decided to be a part of this crusade that the whole world. This is Sexpiocentric Friendship Center training. It's a training package from Center for Sex Education Family Life. Like we normally do in our organization, we start our day by saying, it's a wonderful day. So I want you to look at yourself and say, good day. Well, the question you might want to ask is, why am I here? Or what about here? We're here because there's a crisis. And the crisis before us is the crisis of a sexualized world. Now, all over the world, our world is gradually becoming a sexualized world. There is problems like sexting. Sexting in Nigeria, my country, for example, is between preteens, that is ages 8 to 12. Sexting is a concept where parents give their children a mobile phone, and a boy takes a picture of his penis and sends to a girl, and the girl is supposed to take a vagina and sends back to the same guy. Okay, and that is spreading like wildfire in a lot of our private schools. You have rape. The tragedy of rape is that boys no longer rape girls as such. More boys rape boys in a lot of our boarding houses. Now, there's a problem of pornography. There's a problem of incest in a lot of homes. Voyeurism, gay bars and gay church, lesbianism, bestiality. There are states in America where there are condoms for 5-year-olds. There's a strip joint and parties. There's an oral sex. The tragedy of oral sex in a lot of our A-rated schools in Nigeria is the fact that they code it. A boy says to a girl, give and it shall be given unto you. The girl responds by saying, good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. The parents are clapping that they are quoting scriptures. They don't know that they are talking oral sex. There's child sexual abuse. Statistics says if nothing is done, 75 million Nigerians will be living with HIV by 2020. It says 1 out of every 4 girls will be sexually abused before the age of 18. You have abortion, you have pedophilia. In 2011 at Baltimore in America, pedophiles in America gathered, and they were pushing for the American government to legalize pedophilia as a sexual orientation and no longer a sexual offense. There were professors from Harvard, Yale, and several other universities in that conference. Where did we go from here, and what exactly is the problem? How did we find ourselves in a sexualized world? The first problem is the problem of deception. Many parents have deceived themselves. We live in deception. Parents say things like, oh, this world is becoming destroyed. But I ask, when you were a kid, when you were 11, did you receive a love letter? If you received love letter when there was no internet, when there were no mobile phones, what would your children be receiving right now? Okay, so we live in deception. We fool ourselves. Number 2, we live in denial. Every day, all over the pages of newspaper, another child is raped, another child is molested. Parents rub their hands and they say, thank God my child is not involved. Christians say, oh, my child is covered by the blood of Jesus, and all kinds of things. So we live in denial. Number 3, we live in a culture of silence. Even when we discover, we keep quiet. Number 4, our priorities is wrong. Parents don't have a personal library on parenting. They don't have books on parenting. A lot of parents are parental illiterate. We don't know what to do, and we don't seek for knowledge. We would rather buy clothes and shoes at the expense of material of our children. The question before us is who is to blame the 6-year-old as sexually active in Nigeria? In the last 9 months of my life, I've traveled to 8 states in Nigeria. I have counseled more 6-year-olds who are having sex than even adults who are having sex. Of a pathetic situation was a mother brought a 2-year-old and 8-month son who tried to have sex with the mother. Okay, she said she tried calling the boy, and the boy said, oh, mommy, let me teach you how to do it. The boy unstrapped a bra, tried to suck her breast, then said, mommy, let me put my peep inside your wee-wee, remove your pants. Now, by the time we interrogated the boy, we realized that the nanny who had been who is saddled with responsibility of staying with the boy had been molesting him every day from 1 p.m. thereabout. Now, there are so studies. Parents say my child is too young to know about sex. In 2007, there was a case of a baby that was less than 2-year-old whose stomach kept protruding and eventually died as a result of accumulation of semen. It was made to swallow by the caretaker. Okay, in 2008 in Ogun State, a teacher called pastor was arrested having raped 10 children ages 2 to 10. In 2008, at Yaba Magistrate Court, a man was prosecuted for raping an 8-year-old. It was later found that the man was living with HIV. A woman almost ran away from home in 2008. She ran to my office because she caught her husband trying to force himself on their 3-year-old daughter. There are several other cases. This boy at 4 was sodomized. He became gay, and we had to work on him to rediscover his sexuality. Another boy was molested. Another girl became a lesbian. All kinds of cases that we have handled in the last 14 years. A 20-month-old baby was raped in a nursery school in Oyo State. A 7-year-old was raped by a stepfather in Lagos State. All these things are happening all around us. Statistics says 1 out of every 4 girls will be sexually abused before the age of 18. If nothing is done, 75 million Nigerians will be living HIV by 2020. Every 150 minutes in South Africa, a child below 16 is raped. Every 13th hour, a child below 10 is raped. Children with a history of sexual molestation are 10 times more likely to attempt suicide. The ages of sexual initiation among Nigerian teenagers range from 12 to 16. It has actually dropped to 6 right now. 15 to 29-year-olds account for 62% of all AIDS cases within the country. This was a survey we took about 6 years ago. We selected randomly ages 16 to 24, 200 of them, and we asked them, number 1, were you sexually abused? 192 said yes, 8 said no. Have you ever had sex? 188 said yes, 12 said no. If no, have you been involved in lesbianism or masturbation? 198 said yes, 2 said no. Are your parents aware of your sexual behavior? 1 said yes, 199 said no. I have failed in my effort to quit my sexual behavior. 196 said yes, 4 said no. I learned about sex from my parents or religious organization. 1 said yes, 199 said no. I urgently need help about my sexual behavior. 200 said yes. I've been involved with more than one sexual partner. 192 said yes, 8 said no. I regret my sexual behavior, but I feel helpless. 198 said yes, 2 said no. Last question. My parents failed in their duty towards my emotional life. 200 said yes. The breaking news is that children are going into extinction. The World Health Organization, about 11, 12 years ago, said that we no longer have proper children. Parents say, oh, they don't know what they're talking about. But when was the last time you saw a child fly a kite on your street? When was the last time you saw girls play 10-10, swear, and all the kind of outdoor games we played as kids? Our children now play indoor games, and those indoor games you have no control over it. A lot of cartoons have sex and pornography. We have a choice. The choice, number 1, is to turn our backs and pray as usual. But the second choice is to take responsibility. But I always say to people that if we do not take responsibility for the sexuality of our children, do it for us. So the assignment we have decided to undertake is to curb the activities of child predators by successfully implementing effective sexual education in our churches, schools, and homes. The goal is to touch 1 million kids with basic sexual education by 2023. Okay, and the strategy we have decided to undertake is to empower against the predator. When we talk about basic sexual education, there are various stakeholders, from the family to the schools, to government, to religious organizations, traditional rulers, media, showbiz. And the judiciary. Now, our strategy is to set up sexocentric friendship centers, or what I'd love to call super kids club, in a lot of our homes. What that means is that you will volunteer your time. You can volunteer your home, or if you have a hall, an open place you can use in the neighborhood, you can volunteer yourself twice a month. We will provide all the materials you will need, okay, to teach children in the neighborhood basic sexual education. No child is free until every becomes free. So what we're trying to do as at the level of Center for Sex Education and Family Life is to have those forums where on every street, you will take responsibility. Children will learn. The greatest strength of the predator against a child is ignorance. They know the parents will never teach anything, and that's why we need to take it upon ourselves. Government may not do it, religious organization may not do it, Parents, we are the ones that need to take responsibility. I hope you will love to be a part of us. Now, the question you might want to ask is, who are these people? We're a Center for Sex Education and Family Life. We're a not-for-profit organization. Our mandate is to raise a sexually pure generation and build the most desirable marriages. Okay, this was started by my humble self, Praise Fowowe, and in the last 10 years thereabout, we have worked tirelessly towards raising youth with high moral standard through various projects such as Gold in the Slum, Uncommon Man Network, sexuality workshops, friendship centers, and all kinds of things. And we have testimonies. Our vision is to assist people in all nations build a successful family life, where successful family life means a childhood that is void of sexual abuse, a wholesome marriage, effective parenting, healthy individuals that can contribute their quota to the society. We run our project under two core programs. We have what we call the Sexpiocentric project, which is where the friendship centers lies, the Uncommon Man Network, basic sexual education, and anything that involves sex. Then we have the Lovebirds project, which is the marital part, which is desirable family life. In our organization, we have our core values, and we expect every volunteer to adhere by these core values. Number one is passion, which says we'll go the extra mile. We will not wait on the government. We will take responsibilities. Empathy. We appreciate and understand the situation of all people who deal with us. Capacity. We work hard to be the best at what we do. We will improve every time. Creativity. We are originators of innovative solutions. Honor. We promote and encourage respect for all human relationships and integrity. We constantly strive to align words and action. Now, the Friendship Center basically was something that I tried to do in Ajegunle years ago. We did a pilot project and we were able to arrive at 66 centers on 66 streets in Ajegunle, where young people were gathering every week to talk about their sexuality and get help about various sex. Okay, and that's what we're trying to do right now. Now, for this first phase of this assignment, our centers, we're going to divide them into about 3 different centers: ages 3 to 10, ages 11 to 18, ages 19 to 25. The first set we're starting with are the young children. We know if the foundation be destroyed, there is nothing we can build on it when the child has eventually grown. That's why the formative years is so critical. We're going to be concentrating on them, especially ages 3 to 18. Okay, but we're kickstarting with ages 3 to 10. Our core focus is, like I said, is ages 3 to 18 because that's the generation we can effectively build and mold. Okay, so kindly feel free to indicate the age range you are most comfortable with, but we would prefer people who will take responsibility for ages 3 to 10 right now. What are your roles as a volunteer? Number 1 will be to facilitate. You will run the center meetings and teach every child in your center based on the general curriculum that will make available online on our website. Number 2, you will send a report so that we can monitor your activities. 3, you will provide counseling support for abuse kids in your center that you discover. Number 4, you nurture, serve as role model. Number 5, influence positively the kids, so that they can be raised in a sexualized world. Our own role as an organization will equip you with the basic knowledge and basic tools required to educate the kids in your center. We will support, on some of the cases that may emanate from your center by interacting with the kids. Number 3, we'll coordinate the activities of all the centers in every nation. Then we will celebrate, respect with volunteers at all times. How does this center operate? Now, basically, if you're operating it in Nigeria, our opening prayer is usually the national anthem, our second stanza. That's our national prayer. If it's in any other country, you can pray, or if you have a national anthem, you can also recite the national anthem. Number 2, the outline for each meeting will be prepared by us and we will upload on the site every time so that you can prepare yourself ahead of time. Outlines will be uploaded online, and comments, review, and feedback will be online too. So everything will be online driven. The Friendship Center meetings will hold fortnightly, twice a month. Each center coordinator will fill an online form Excel sheet to update the center on meeting progress per time, which will tell us how many people attended, are there areas of need, areas of concern. Maximum duration for meetings shall be 2 hours. Every child below the age of 14 is expected to complete the parental consent form and submit. Okay, that form is something that we have online. You can download it so that they are attending the meeting with the parents' consent. If possible, get a few parents to also attend the meeting so that they can observe, especially because of the need for you to protect yourself. Okay, we will end every meeting with a chastity, which we talk about later. Now we have a few code of conduct. Number one is, please avoid a one-on-one session with members of your center except by parental consent. If you have to have a one-on-one with any child, make sure that there are people there. We don't want stories that touch. We don't want scandal. Okay, avoid intimate interactions like bear hugs, kisses on the lips. We don't usually tolerate that. Okay, so don't kiss people. Intimacy should be at minimal level. You must avoid late night meetings. We do not encourage flogging or capital punishment, no matter what the case may be. All counseling needs should be referred to the center so that we can advise appropriately. If possible, get any of the parents to attend the meetings. Maximum number to a center shall be 15, after which the center is able to break into another center for proper monitoring. Okay, that's why we expect you to mentor other parents so that they can also replicate the centers. We would advise you to adhere to this code of conduct. This is our chastity pledge. This pledge is basically for preteens and teenagers, but specifically for teenagers. It says, I pledge to my God and gender to keep my body from premarital sex, to treat every lady as my mother, sister, daughter, and my neighbor's queen, to defend their virginity and uphold their chastity. Oh, help me, God. Now, we're grateful for your commitment to this project, and we believe together we shall build the world's strongest and most effective movement to checkmate the activities of sex predators, as well as create a world that is habitable for every child to live. We honor you. Please note, whatever we bound on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatever we permit on earth shall be permitted in heaven. If we set pedophiles loose, God will not have a problem. If we say no more to pedophilia, God will also back us up. If we fold our arms and pray and do nothing, our children will be molested. But if we take responsibility, raise positive children in a sexualized world. It starts with the earth and your attitude, and not your mouth. We really want to help people. Be there for these children. It's time to build a generation that is bright, right, and tight. And subsequently, we're going to be sending to you, as our volunteers will send to you, our child protection policy, which we believe should be able to help you operate within the best practices globally, so that you know your limitations, you know what you can't do and what you can do, especially because there's what is called child sexual abuse, and we don't want you to be a victim. There's a need for you to protect yourself, and we will ensure that at all times. As much as possible, keep your meetings open. If you can take pictures of your meeting and upload, we would appreciate it. We would like to know exactly what is happening. And please, the reporting line is so critical. For those of you in different areas, we will soon introduce you to your team leaders so that we can monitor. The structure is such that, you know, we will have different cadres of leaders so that we can properly monitor it. The goal is for us to have about 1 million centers, you know, within the next 10-20 years thereabout. We believe this is possible, and please know that you can do this in any country of the world. It can be done. Our goal is to touch every country of the world and set up these centers and fill the world with the right knowledge about sexuality, even as the waters covers the sea. If we don't do it, the media will do it, the music industry will do it, and they will teach our children what we may not be proud of. And please, there's the need for us to live as role models as well, because children learn faster from what than what you see. The future is ours. Our success is signed, sealed, but we must deliver it. We don't mean we must go for it. Everyone can present well, and we can all do what but you must believe that you can. To him that believe, all things are possible. If you can, then you will. My name is Oladimeji Praise Fowowe. Always remember, if we all take responsibilities for at least 10, 15, 20 children on our street, we would have totally created an entirely new generation. If we keep quiet, our parents kept quiet, and our world has become a sexualized world. If we keep quiet, our world will become an homosexualized world. A lot of kids are becoming gay. A lot of teenagers are becoming gay right now because we have not done anything. I mean, one philosopher said, evil thrives when good men do nothing. Are you a good man? Are you a good parent? It is time to do what is right. Please get your homes ready. Send letters around. sensitize all your friends. Let them bring the children. Let them even attend themselves. Everything you need will be online. Of course, you know the website www. Dot sexandfamilycenter.org, www.sexandfamilycenter.org. Okay, once you get on the site, you can see SFC. If you click on SFC, everything you need will be there. You will be able to navigate easily. It will tell you everything you need to do, and you can fill the form online. You can tell your friends and sensitize them as well about this. This is a project we must all do. No one gets paid for doing this. But I mean, it's time to make history. Let's do this together. Let's save our world. Let's heal the world. Let's create a world that is habitable for our children to live in. And I'm sure God would have been proud of us. Thanks so much for joining us in this campaign to rid our world of child sexual abuse. Yes, we can. And I always say, it is better to build a child than to be trying to repair an adult, says a philosopher. We can do it. We can make this happen. It's our time to make history. It's our time to protect our children. It's a time to empower every child. I believe we can. I can't stand it when another child is being molested or when another girl is raped. We can protect our children by empowering them with requisite information. I believe we can do this. Thank you very much for joining me, and thanks so much for sharing your time and your life. I know God will bless you, God will prosper you, and your own children will not be a victim of child sexual molestation.